Okay, so the last part of my talk, for which I think I have around 15 minutes, is to do with the preservation of traditional culture, and the case study here is traditional songs. Start off by talking about some of the threats to traditional songs. So the first is national and internationalized song styles / modern songs, which is what most young people want to listen to rather than their traditional songs, and you'll hear why in a minute. And things like K-pop, for example, are very popular in the areas that I've been talking about, and they are replacing interest in traditional songs. Secondly, change in religion diminishes the role of some traditional songs because the traditional songs were connected with traditional belief systems. Thirdly, modern education has no place whatsoever for learning such songs. That's true everywhere in the world. It's certainly true in Australia, where, you know, traditional Australian folk songs and traditional songs and so on are also not getting much airing anymore. And modern technology appears to be making some styles redundant. Maybe the news isn't quite as bad, but some songs were associated with certain activities. And we'll see shortly the rice pounding song. So among the Thai people, and remember the Thais were, among the Thai Ahoms were one group I talked about half an hour or so ago. There are other Thai communities, such as the Thai Pake. It was in Thai Pake that very first song, the one about me going to India that I played you a tiny bit of, was sung. Now the Thai Pake have multiple different types of traditional songs. The Ke Kiang, which is sung to mark a particular occasion. On this occasion, that one was created in 2000 to honour the publication of the first printed books in the Thai Pake language, which I paid for out of money I got my relatives to give me for my 40th birthday, and which gives you an idea where I stand. And to celebrate the publication of those books, they organised an event at the village and this song was created. There are also rice pounding songs, which we'll demonstrate in a minute, songs praising the beauty of the world, and dramas. I can't talk about those, but I can talk about the rice pounding song. Now, rice pounding is where you bang the husk off rice. I've never met anybody in northeast India who would dream of eating rice that still had its husk on. They remove the husk before they eat the rice in every case. And this was traditionally done by a mortar and pestle system and banging the husk off it. Very time-consuming work. And it was mostly, not entirely, but mostly done by women, and they would sing during this. And this was one occasion when traditionally women could sing about the situations that they were not happy about. They could complain. Rice pounding songs and similar types of songs all around the world, women's work songs, if you like, have been recorded as opportunities for women to complain about their husbands or to complain about their children or whatever. So as you can see here in this song, she says, "Pound, oh pound, the poor woman must prepare the meal, only rising from it when the sun reaches its height." So you start in the early morning, and when the sun is high up, only then can you stop. So I've got a recording of a little bit of this. Well, first of all, here's an old photo of somebody doing rice pounding, so you can see the mortar in which the rice is pounded. It's a particular shape and it's got a certain kind of gap cut into it, and then she's going to bang it with that stick and then place what she bangs into that basket, and then it has to be winnowed and it takes hours every day. And here is Inyan Ket, whose house I also visited at the end of January, singing a rice pounding song, but this is 20 years ago now.
Xoay rồi, ủa đừng mà xoay, xoay ơi, mày cầm cô ơi, sắc xuân tìm xoay xoay ơi mơ yêu đi nụm hoang cơn tô chừng tu ăn ngàn bận tuổi sợi doi.
As you can see, the song provides its own rhythm. Bang, 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 bang. And it's a sort of natural human thing almost to start singing when you have rhythm like that happening. Now this song isn't performed in its traditional way anymore because everybody in these villages now has machines to do this. And thank goodness for that. There's something rather nice about traditional society, or about the idea of traditional society, but hey, spending 2 hours every morning doing that is something which nobody wants to go back to. Sorry. Versions of the song are now performed at community festivals, such as their New Year Festival and when welcoming honoured guests. Now, their New Year Festival is not something they've performed for a long period. They got the idea from the Shan people in Burma and kind of recreated it. So here we have a situation where the language has never ceased to be spoken, but new cultural practices are coming up. Or when welcoming honoured guests. So, for example, when the Princess of Thailand visited 10 odd years back, they welcomed her by singing one of these songs. By way of short digression, in the 1970s, a Thai scholar, Dr. Bantop Pantumeta, recorded a rice pounding song and took it back to Thailand on a little reel-to-reel tape. The singer of that song died in about 1980. In 2000, I got in touch with Dr. Bunchop's niece, Dr. Bunchop having subsequently passed away, and borrowed those tapes, brought them back to Australia and got them digitised here. Then took the recording back to Northeast India and played it in the house of Inyamket, the lady that we just saw. When I started playing the song, I asked her who was singing. She muttered something and her youngest son, then a teenager, got up and ran and walked away. I thought, he doesn't want to listen to this old song, but I was wrong. He had been asked by her to go and get one of the neighbours, and that neighbour was the young son, aged 21 or so, of the man singing. But his father, the singer, had died when that boy was just 1 and he'd never heard his father's voice. It's quite an emotional thing to bring back recordings of people who have passed away into these communities. And I mention this in particular because the day after tomorrow is the 100th birthday of Dr. Bunchop, who was the pioneer of research in Thai languages in Northeast India. And if any of you are my Facebook friends, I am going to honour that event on Thursday. Okay, among the Singpore, another community I've worked with, there are several traditional songs. Again, they have rice pounding songs. They also have something called the Kat Yong Ninkin, which is an immensely long song, the longest I've ever recorded, 40 minutes. And this would be sung while you were punting a boat down the shallow rivers of this area, telling the sagas of the history of that community. I've no time to talk more about that, but among the Tangsa, who I have also mentioned, they have a particular kind of song called the Vihu song. And it used to be sung, and still is, by a small number of people in January at the time of their harvest festival. It's actually not the harvest, it's the beginning of the planting season in that area, but it's become the harvest time for people who are living on the plains. The Vihu song was connected with this belief in ancestral figures who lived, both male and female, always in pairs. This song does not advantage one over the other. In fact, if anything, the female is mentioned more often. But pretty much they're equal. And these ancestors, or whatever they are, travel from down up to the tops of the hills and bring with them the blessings of agriculture. And but this song, in 2006, when I started my work, there were no extant recordings of this song, and I made the first one that is known to have been made. Subsequently, we've made hundreds, and other people have started making them too. And many people have said to me that as a result of that, there's been a rekindling in interest in this song. And even in some villages in northeast India, they've started again, though they are now Christian, to practice this festival in January, but with some of the earlier features taken out. It's an interesting feature of this song that I want to mention. So Mr. Lukam Tolim, or Lukyam Tolim, or Lukam Tonglom, or his name can come in many forms, told me that you can sing the same song with 4 different melodies and it has different meanings. So this is the text of the song. Rice granary yonder leg push, money box yonder neck rest. And the translation of this was that the rice granary was so strong that you can't push it over with your legs. You can't sort of lie down on your back and push with your legs and push it over because it's so full of rice, it's too heavy. Or your money box is so full that your neck can rest on it. And this song can be sung either as a Vihu song, meaning that it celebrates the harvest, as a sacrifice song, and they performed animal but also human sacrifice at an earlier time, and sacrifice would be performed if the spirits needed to be placated, or as a spirit calling song, and we heard about spirit calling before, or even as a love song. So imagine, of course, a young man would say to a girl, look, I'm a great catch. I've got so much rice in my granary that I can't push it over with my legs, and I've got so much money in my money box that I can use it as a pillow. I'm a good catch. Come with me. So, but the words are the same. And I've put the words that convey the meaning in bold, but the words that are not in bold are filler words, are particle words. They don't mean anything, but in combination with the different melodies, this conveys the meaning of the song. That's the first time.
Suri lai asuri lai idan khale tumtsu je phang gamazo o cha tu tsu tuk dang gamazo inda apara chije gaisha para shia wala ale chale tu tsule tuk dan li ren khale tum tsuya phangi.
So meaning is conveyed not only by the words but by the melody. And even in this area, songs are being pressed into new roles. So the Vihu song, though it's traditionally related with the traditions of agriculture and the sort of ancestors and the earth spirits and so on, has been pressed into use as a Christian song.
Ile Adam dung chin bele him yo ma chung ti rang wa ra ta chung ka wa lu Ile Adam Belem ga ke bambo wam tu ta dong.
And here you can see the Christian message, the about Bethlehem, where Jesus came from, and about God above, being rebranded, if you like, retold using the traditions. Okay, so that's more or less the end of my lecture. I'm just going to finish. You can stop now if you like, or you can watch it with Kuke Vash. Sorry. With the Kuke Vasor dance, the New Year's dance performed by the troupe from Tiakung village. They came for a day by boat to Kampi village in 2013 and performed this for me. Thank you all.
Nhìn này đây à? Thank you.